I am an Elvis novice listening to the great man's back catalogue and watching live performances for the first time. Hello everybody, I'm Mike from the Rewatch Project with Hannah and Mike podcast, and I'm back with another edition of Front Row, these first time listen reaction videos that I've been doing, and I'm back in the kingly world of one Elvis, Aaron Presley, but I'm doing things a little bit differently today. Today I am going to be doing a comparison of two performances 11 years apart of the same song, which I have never heard, but people have recommended this song to me and I wasn't sure which version to do, so I thought here is a novel way of solving that problem. So I'm going to listen to both live performances and let you know, I don't know if I'll be saying what my favourite is, but I'll certainly be talking about the similarities and the differences of those. And the song in question is When My Blue Moon Turns to Gold Again. So I know the song Blue Moon by Elvis, but I don't know this song, so this should be interesting. A quick reminder that I do pause these songs, that I talk over them, that's how I choose to react. It is what it is. However, I would strongly urge you to listen to this song, or both performances of this song in their entirety if you've not done so before. And also I would encourage you to check out the other content on this channel, including the Rewatch Project with Hannah and Mike podcast, where we go back and in that case rewatch some of our favourite film and television franchises, in addition to the other film, TV, music and general pop culture related goodness that cohabits this here channel. We also very much appreciate likes and subscribes. Subscriptions make a huge difference. People find the channel, they get involved, they communicate, and that is a great motivator for doing this with a higher level of regularity. I would also urge you to donate via PayPal if you can, if and only if you can afford to do so without causing yourself any financial hardship. It helps with the upkeep of this channel. If I can get better software, if I can get better equipment, I can do these a lot quicker, and it makes it much more tempting to do so. Anyway, I'm blathering on quite a lot this time, so let's get on to When My Blue Moon Turns to Gold Again. The first performance, I believe, is from the Ed Sullivan Show in, I think, 57. Yes, January 6, 1957. So let's listen to this song, watch his performance, and then we'll get into the later version, which is from 1968. Here we go. Oh, screaming immediately. Okay, so I warned you I stopped. That's the guy's personality right away, isn't it? He's got this sort of symbiotic, psychic relationship with the audience, and he's just kind of amused by it. And the audience, they don't know how to react. You know, this level of celebrity and this level of excitement and the realization of youth culture, the explosion of youth culture and the possibility, the conception of the teenager, you know, was just such a new thing. They didn't know how to react. You know, it was hysteria, it was laughter, it was screaming, it was all of this unchecked emotion. And Elvis is, I mean, I love that picture actually. I might have to try and use that as one of the the screenshots for the thumbnail. But you've got Elvis, who's kind of very confident but at the same time shy and just dealing with this, you know, unprecedented, unique level of fame that didn't really exist before him. And it's just great to see how him and the audience are just on this wavelength, and you know, the old people don't get it. Here we go.
Thank you very much. Here's a song from my album, Friends.
I love that he calls them friends.
Before we do this song, I'd like to tell everybody that that they made this the best Christmas that we've ever had. We would like to thank.
There's something in his younger years as well about his eyes. They've got this kind of laziness, this kind of sleepy, almost kind of droopiness, which sounds derogatory, but it really adds to his look and his appeal as well, and it's very unique.
All the wonderful Christmas presents and Christmas cards and birthday presents that came in. I got exactly 282 teddy bears over the Christmas holidays. We have the walls lined with them.
So endearing.
I'd like to tell you that we deeply appreciate it. We're sorry that we couldn't give each one of you a new Lincoln, but they wouldn't sell us that many.
Here he goes. It's almost a transformation that he goes through, a kind of character. He's like passing into this sort of liminal space to be able to create this world of music. You know, I've seen that a few times with him.
Well, I went my blue.
Love it. See, a really slight movement with his shoulder there, and there was a little eruption from the crowd. It's like he's kind of testing them out and kind of calibrating to know how big he needs to go to get a reaction, or how quiet, if he wants to pull the audience back so they listen, how he can do it. It's really something. And those runs he does, that, that's such an Elvis thing, isn't it? They say imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. We know that that's a trick that people do when they're impersonating Elvis, and it can be quite reductive. But at the same time, it does come from something that is so inherently him. How many of us have had such an impact that we're able to be emulated with this kind of shorthand? It really is just an incredible cultural imprint. You can even control his hair. Look how great his hair looks. The audience seem to really react when he kind of channels a little bit of danger. Like you see here, let's go back a little bit. This look he's got on his face there here. Just when he smiles, he kind of breaks character a little bit here. But there's something very threatening about that. That's the Elvis that, white America didn't want in their living room. But the audience are incredible. And he knows it. He knows that he can do that. I mean, that's why he was such a... I know the films weren't always great, but why he was a great actor. He wasn't always serviced by the material. But look at him here. Look how much he understands the power of imagery. Oh, love those little transitions. And of course the backing vocals, the Jordanaires, right? Whoa. He knows what he's doing. He's like conducting the audience. Within my arms to stay. Amazing. And no, I get the feeling those bits at the end of the songs when they kind of slow down and harmonise, I get the feeling that's the stuff Elvis really loves. I can imagine him sitting around in his hotel or at home or in his car, with his limousine or his private jet, later, with his friends, just singing like that and just loving it. So that was fantastic. What you see there is the birth of the modern entertainer. You really see somebody who has that connection with the audience and understands cameras, because it looks like, I don't know if this was a reaction to the, Elvis the pelvis and all that ridiculousness, but, he's being shot from the sort of higher waist, chest upwards, but he's still able to bring in all of the dynamism that a kind of full body performance brings through his face, and that's what I've said before about Elvis, the micro versus macro, the fact that he can project, immense distance, but also he's able to communicate, like all great communicators, on a much more smaller, intimate scale, through facial tics and whispering vocals, making you lean in. If you compare something like, Suspicious Minds with something like Blue Moon, one is a whisper in your ear and the other one is just, screaming from the skies. And, you're seeing that all here. Really, really amazing stuff. So let's jump forward to 1968, shall we? And this is the same song. It's only very short. It looks like it's in the sit-down section. But let's see where Elvis was 11 years later.
Well, the memories that linger in my heart.
Oh, yeah.
Memories accuse Stephen Road. Well, someday they're gonna live again, sweetheart.
it's so funny because, he still looks great here. He's still young and he's very much just being off the cuff with his band. And it's so funny because obviously not only has he aged and had all of his experiences, but the audience have as well. And that was a new thing, this idea of this youth culture. One of the defining elements to audiences in the early days of Elvis was his youth and our youth, the youth of the audience. So what you've got here is you've got not only a artist looking back and playing with his friends, but doing it with the wisdom of age and experience. There's already in just the first few seconds of this, there's a huge subtext of, do you remember this? And it's been done off the cuff. It's been done raw. It's been done with a level of comfort with himself that he wouldn't have had early on in his career, and a level of maturity. But of course, the audience would be having that as well. That we're in it with him. The audience grew with him, and there's this collective feeling of, wow, do you remember how we used to be? But also he sounds great as well, just strumming away on his guitar. It's great. I always love it when I can hear Elvis play guitar, cueing the band as well. That's great.
The memories that linger in my heart, memories accused Stephen would roll. Well, someday they're gonna live again, sweetheart, and my blue moon again will turn to gold. Well, when my blue moon turns to gold again, when the rainbow turns to clouds away.
Oh, beautiful harmonies.
When my blue moon turns to gold again, you'll be back within my arms to stay.
It's interesting that Elvis is playing the electric, sort of semi-electric hollow body guitar, and his guitarists are playing the acoustic. That's seems counterintuitive, but I love it. Oh, right. Okay, I'm gonna go back. I love it when Elvis gets like this. Oh yeah, that black T-shirt he's got as well. So cool. Speeding up, love it. Just pulling the audience with him. Oh. Oh. Goosebumps. Bit of blues at the end there. Oh, amazing. I'm glad that I did this because, in that early performance, you've got this very polite, young, kind of powerful figure who's discovering his power and experimenting with his power, in the same way that, a young, beautiful woman will discover the power she has. It's a very similar kind of thing. And he's having fun with it in that early performance. And it's just so fresh and new. And there's just such shock and awe and hysteria from the audience and from him and from the world. You can feel it. You can feel the cultural hurricane that he's at the eye of the storm, so to speak. And in this later one, there's this kind of sense of reflection and fun and rediscovery and rebirth and allowing the past in. It takes a certain amount of distance from the past sometimes to let it back in and go, actually, that was pretty great. And I'm still pretty great. And it's different. And we're different. The audience are different. The cultural landscape in the world and politics in America and all of these things are different. But maybe there's still a place for me in it and I can redefine myself. And Elvis is one of the few rock stars, who had been around long enough and had been allowed to stay around long enough, wasn't considered dead at 30, so to speak, to get to that point. I've said before, he was the canary in the coal mine for so many things with fame and television and movies and excess and workload and mental health and all of these things that nobody had ever experienced that level of fame. So he had to be the person who tried it out for everyone else and kind of reaped the rewards, but also kind of had to deal with the punishments and the unexpected sort of curveballs of that. But then, you see this later performance and he's kind of further down the road and really in that reflective mood and sounding great and kind of badass and having fun with his friends and his audience. So those, I'd say it's a dead heat with those performances for very, very different reasons. And I think that they really demonstrate the journey and the kind of malleability and elasticity of Elvis. What a guy, what a career. What an interesting contrast. Tell me what to cover next. Reminder that donations via PayPal very much appreciated, if and only if you can afford to do so without causing yourself any financial hardship. Check out the other content on this channel. Likes and subscribes are very much appreciated. Back real soon. Bye-bye.